Yet another escalation may be just days away as President Trump leans into his threat to slap even more tariffs on China and $325 billion worth of its products.
About the $325 billion, we're looking at it very strongly. We're having a little squabble with China because we've been treated very unfairly for many, many decades, for actually a long time.
Today, markets rebounded a bit, with the Dow closing up more than 200 points. That's after the tariff tit-for-tat triggered a topsy-turvy ride yesterday.
Do you think you're winning the trade war, Mr. President?
I think we're winning it. You want to know something? We always win.
But it doesn't look like winning to Tim Bardole, who's losing money on his soybean crop as the Chinese buy less of it. Still, he voted for President Trump in 2016 and supports him now.
What President Trump is doing should have been done 15 or 20 years ago. Then it would have been an easy fix.
The president plans to talk with China's leader at a global summit next month, though that may not be soon enough for farmers like Bardole.
As a farmer, I've been beat up for a year. Make sure that there is a good, solid agreement that will help me in the future.
Hallie joins us now. Hallie, there's also some breaking news tonight about the president's son. What is it about?
You're right, Lester. NBC News has now learned Donald Trump Jr. has agreed to answer questions from the Senate Intelligence Committee in mid-June about the proposed Trump Tower Moscow project, according to a source close to the president's son. Remember, it was revealed just last week that the Republican-led committee subpoenaed Trump Jr. to get him to appear.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.